Hey guys, we're back again with the final part of our first podcast. This is part 3. Hope you enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Fight Chase Muay Thai and Mixed Martial Arts podcast. I think that it's the cardio kickboxing type of coaching and things like that that's kind of melting back over, and people are thinking they're learning Muay Thai or kickboxing or something like that, and they're going to get taught the wrong way, honestly. Things that aren't practical.
I think if you went in with the idea, knowing what you were actually doing, like if you knew that you weren't really learning kickboxing and that you were just getting a great workout in, that would be one thing. But if you think that you're going in there actually learning how to defend yourself, like that's not good at all.
It is a funny thing is what I would tell my students, and they're like, well, what do you like better? Like, I don't know. You must have gotten that question. Do you like Muay Thai or do you like Jujitsu better? And I said, if I ever was in an altercation in the street, I'm not going to stand up and fight someone. I said, they'd pull something out, they're going to stab me. I would use Jiu-Jitsu. I said, how I see it personally is Jiu-Jitsu is self-defense. I could really hurt somebody, but I could also control a situation. Muay Thai to me is self-offense. If I wanted to initiate a bad situation, obviously you can protect yourself, but there's way too many more variables if I'm standing across from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're going to fight, I'd rather take it to the ground where I feel, one, I'm not going to get slammed on my head. You're going to have less chance to pull out a knife, things like that. So I always told him, I was like, yes, Muay Thai is a self-offense. It's a sport. Obviously you can use it as, to defend yourself in a situation. But Jiu-Jitsu is where I would fall back on if I had to protect myself. And it was one of those things. Oh, okay. I'm like, but if you put them both together, you're now more dangerous than the guy that trains one or the other.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too, because I look at Muay Thai, it is good for self-defense in situations where you want to keep your distance from somebody. Like if you're trying to get away from somebody and you don't really want to fight them, I think Muay Thai is a good option. And especially the footwork and the balance, maybe you're in a parking lot and you don't want to take the guy down and be on top of him and roll around on broken bottles or whatever the deal is. Or maybe you got 3 guys coming at you and you're going to teep kick a couple of them away and then circle out and get the hell out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree.
I think, like you were saying, I think a combination of the both is the perfect combo.
You have to be able to protect yourself, and putting everything together, obviously, because you never know what situations are going to happen. But we're way off topic, so.
We knew this was going to happen.
That's all right. Where was your favorite place to train out here? Like the one place that you were like, that's the place. If I come back, I have to hit up.
That's kind of hard because I really think just talking to you and the places that you trained at, that I probably wouldn't train at any of the places that I've already been. Not that any of them weren't great, because they were great, but it's just there's so many gyms out there, so many different places that I want to try, training at. But one of the places that I really did love is Jip Mung Nun. They have a couple Lumpini champions out of there. And it's like in a suburb of Bangkok. And what I really loved about that gym was it was just like an old school gym. Like the bags were just, they were all beat up. They had all their spare gloves. You could just tell that they were really well worn in. And, they weren't charging the prices like you would get at, the big name Phuket gyms. Like when I went in there, the guy even told me, he's like, I do this because I love it. And I think I wound up paying like $60 a month for classes there, which if you train out there, you know that training a lot of times is like one of your biggest expenses, if not your biggest expense. Like training out there's they jack up the price, especially for the foreigners.
My condo is 9,000 baht a month, which is
Mhm.
what, under $300 a month
Yeah,
for a condo. Okay.
yeah, nice one too.
I have a giant pool, a gym. I'm on the 8th floor. I can see the city. I'm a block from the beach. Training out here is between 12,000 and 20,000 baht a month.
Yep.
So you will pay more to train Muay Thai. And the biggest problem with that I've found is because Muay Thai is a tourism. It's a tourism industry here, and as a foreigner, most of the time you're not fighting as far as making the gym money. Now, if people don't understand, is Muay Thai fighters that are from Thailand typically join the gym very young age, 6, 7 years old. They'll go to school, they'll come back, they train. A lot of them will live at the gym, and when they start fighting, the gym basically owns them. And obviously that's an odd thing to say, but even today, 1 week ago, I was talking to somebody about a fighter who's become very popular, and they said, "Yeah, we just bought that fighter." And what that means is one gym paid the other gym to bring that fighter to their gym. So now that fighter fights under that gym's name. So the fighters that are Thai fighters aren't paying to train. So the gym is making money only when they fight. That's why they're fighting, once a month or, once a week or whatever it is. Now, when we go, maybe we fight once a month, or if you don't fight at all, maybe you're just on a tourism thing. And I think the big draw is that's why they're charging us so much. I mean, I didn't sign up for a gym here to train as a home gym, which I wanted to, because it was like 2 to 3 times more than I trained at Vanderlei Silva's gym in Las Vegas for not as much anything, just to train Muay Thai, a certain times a week. But the reason that we're getting charged so much is we're not contributing back in as like workers.
Yeah.
Basically, the fighters are workers. The fighters are going and working and pay, and the gym takes a cut of their pay after they win. Even at 6 years old, the gym takes a cut of that pay for those young kids, and then the kids get the money. So it's a different aspect, and that's a big thing that I think is why my perception of why we pay so much is because we're just a tourist. It's a tourist industry. It's a huge industry for tourism. That's why you see the big gyms like Tiger. Tiger just expanded. They have 2 locations in Phuket now, one right on the beach, AKA that you visited. Big money gyms. And like you were saying, and I'm sure the gym that you trained at in Bangkok, like you were saying, is a small gym. It's probably, I'm sure it was open air, dirty mats,
Yep.
but it was the bags look like they've been flooded a few times and they're cracked, and it's like, but that's where I love to train. I have Defense Soap. Shout out to Defense Soap they sponsor me for when I travel, but I have Defense Soap, so I haven't caught any weirdo things from these mats. But if you guys have never seen a mat that's just never been cleaned in a ring, that's what these places are, and they've been rained on, and they've been like I was telling you a story when I was training with one of the fighters, and he was drinking the water and spitting it on the ring because the ring was so coarse. It was like training on burlap. It was like ripping up my feet because it was so dry, and he was putting the water in his mouth and then spitting it on the mat. I had no idea what he was doing at first, and I'm like, oh, he's wetting the mat down. I'm like, okay, let's go with it. But like you were saying, is to train out here is so expensive. And then you have a big complex like, Fairtex. I think Phuket Top Team, I may be misquoting, but I believe what they told me was 20,000 a month for unlimited. And
Wait, but for that too, did that include the room?
no, that was for training.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And you
because
can get
some
cheaper
of them
phones.
mix in, the dorm packages or whatever. And I think really, if you were just flying in and you were just going to stay for a month and then head out, it might be a good option for you. But typically, if you're coming to Thailand to train, you're going to find a much nicer, cheaper room, away
Oh
from
yeah.
these big name gyms.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you come here and stay, if and not doing something like I'm doing, as I'm trying to, like with fightchase.com, is I'm trying to get just information out, basically. I want more people to see Thailand. I do the reviews of the gyms because I want you to kind of get a peek of what the gyms offer or where I stayed around the gyms and things like that. It's kind of, if you're coming here for a month, yeah, I would pay 300-400 bucks to train and even live at a gym for a month if that was my focus. Because why not? You're on vacation. What else you can't do any? That's like 2 nights hotel in the States.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. But
Yeah,
if I use,
yeah. Maybe when you hear us say, "Oh man, this is expensive," it doesn't sound expensive, but if you compare it to everything else you pay for it, it is.
it definitely is. Other like you can live on little money if you eat local food and street food and things like that. Even some of the smaller owned restaurants and stuff, you eat very cheap. If you eat Thai food, you'll eat extremely cheap. And if you're going to stay for a longer period of time, 6 months or a year, your utilities are super cheap. And like I pay for my condo, and I have 2 air conditioner units. I just paid today 1,900 baht, which it's been ungodly hot, so they've been running a lot. And I mean, that's under $60 for, my electric bill. My water bill was $9. So, just to give you guys an idea, like my cable provider is my internet provider and also my cell phone provider. I have unlimited data on my cell phone, and I pay 800 baht a month. So I pay under $30 for my cable, my Wi-Fi, and my cell phone. That's
Which is
more
awesome.
than that's amazing. And
Yeah.
there's anywhere that I go, there's Wi-Fi. So I mean, I don't need it because I have unlimited data. But anywhere that I go, my phone brings up the AAS Wi-Fi. So there's hotspots everywhere. Any mall, any airport, anything you go to, there's hotspots. So it just kind of gives you an idea, and that kind of it's what gives me like a foul taste in my mouth about. I mean, I think about it a lot about going back. I'll be back in July, and hopefully not for a crazy amount of time. Just have to figure out the right way to do it. After being here almost a year, it's like, why can I do all this here? And this is a modern country. Bangkok is bigger than LA. Like, it's not, people are like, oh, it's a third world. It's not really. Is it third world? No, I think when people say like, I don't even think it's considered a third world country, but compared to the United States, I don't know. It's not as uh, modern, which doesn't make much sense. It's just, I think that because of Thailand's culture being so infused in society, that people get the idea that it's more of like a third world. You can't walk a block from my condo and not go to a temple. And they have giant, elaborate temples. There's Buddhism everywhere, and it gives you that. If you haven't come here and you don't realize that everything is modern and they have better internet and better Wi-Fi than we do in the States, that you may get the idea that oh, it's not as as modern or whatever. But now I have to go back to the States. $30 a month for all of that. Okay, and that's about what, maybe at least a maybe $300 bill in the States for those three things for
Yeah.
your cable, internet, and your phone.
Oh man, when I first came back from Thailand, because I lived in Thailand for a little bit of time, and that was the hardest thing for me is when I would go back and I was gonna go out to eat or I needed to buy a new shirt or something. I would look at the prices and I'd be like, man, like what am I doing? Why am I doing this? You know, like
Yeah.
you could get all of that stuff in Bangkok. Like if you want to buy a t-shirt, it's going to cost you like a couple bucks, maybe $3, you know, depending on what it is. And then you're coming back here, you're paying $20. Or like there's a Thai restaurant down the street from where I live, and I go there, and you know, it's like $15 a plate. Where I know that if I was back in Thailand, it'd be like 250. I'm like, ah, man, it's so hard.
Yeah, I'm dreading coming back. I really am. I mean, I've since I came over here and met you the first time. That was, I don't know, 2014 or 15. I've come over so many times, and I always dread going back. But I always dreaded going back because I just love Thailand and the freedom of it. And now, like, I have a condo here, and I'm living here. Like, I lived normal. There's days that I don't do anything. It's not every day's an adventure. You know, so now I'm going back, and I'm like, man, everything's different there. People are different. Everything, like, it's going to take a little bit of adjustment to get back into. I'm sure it did for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just everything. Yeah, to be honest, I felt like I had culture shock when I came back. Like I wasn't used to the way that the traffic was moving organized. I wasn't used to anything.
You can't just
Everything
run all the
seemed
red lights.
odd. Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know, I posted something on Facebook recently. Like, it had a little picture. I don't know if you saw it. And it was like how we obey traffic laws in the States. And it was, you know, the green lights go, yellow lights caution, and the red light was stop. And then here it was like green lights go, yellow lights go faster or something, and then red light was like look for police and then go.
Yeah.
And that's really how it is.
You rarely ever see police over there either.
I mean, by my condo, I see them, and then like any other touristy areas, you'll see, because if people don't know, you'll kind of the police look for foreigners for you. Kind of, it's not you're doing something wrong, but if you don't have an international license, you can't legally ride a motorbike here, a scooter, but everybody rides them. So they can look at you and pull you over and typically give you a ticket, a pay-on-site ticket for a few $100 baht. The same thing with
Yeah, just to clarify that, you get a ticket for like $6.
Yeah. You're not getting a like when I was in Vegas and I got my first ticket and it was like $380. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, and you'll get like a helmet ticket or whatever. They're not out trying to screw people, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. It's amazing. I mean, and like I said, with what I do with fightchase.com is I want to show people what goes on here. If you're looking for just to come for a gym, I want you to kind of get an idea of some of the gyms that I've been to. You know, I'll do the pictures and the videos and things like that and the write-up of them. If you're looking to go to a temple, I mean, I have articles of temples that I've been to. A few that are like when you took me to Wateroo the first time, I wrote an article on that as like a blog post that I've been back to that temple probably 90% of the time that I've gone to Bangkok. I just love that temple right on the river there. I just went there yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone falls in love with Thailand that I've ever talked to. Like, I've never had somebody, and the people that I know that say they don't like Thailand have been here for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I just need to get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, but that's,
and you know, going back to that too, like there's people that don't like Thailand because they got into the wrong crowd, because there is a lot of shadiness that goes on there if you're in the wrong circle, you know.
oh yeah, and we can definitely do a whole post or a whole thing on that. We do a podcast because I mean, like we've talked about before, there's plenty of things that I'm not going to ever repeat that I've seen here. So and I mean nothing crazy, or like the things that people think go on here, I have not seen. Some of the illegal things that they say go on here, I'm sure they do, but it's not what people make it out to be. And what I'm talking about is like some of the human trafficking and things like that that is, I'm sure, is prevalent, but I have never seen most of that stuff. You know, a lot of people think that if you go to these red light districts, oh, it's horrible. It's just a bunch of nightclubs. Yeah, there's different aspect to it that we'll get into at a later time. But it's really just, it's not as nasty as people really like. Before I came here, I didn't know what to expect. I thought you're going to see the worst of the worst things in the world here, and they could get away with anything. And it's really not like that. It's
what else is kind of crazy about being over there is I feel like there's definitely a lot more shady stuff going on, but there's also it's a lot more free because you could pretty much do pretty much anything, really. Like it seems like it's a little bit more free in a lot of ways, which is kind of crazy considering it's a monarchy. They have a king, so.
Nobody knows if you haven't been to Thailand. Even if you've just heard of Thailand, you probably don't know how the king is revered here. He's more than the Pope, I would say. Well, the last king was so revered by the people. Any restaurant, any home that you go into, they have a large picture of the king. I remember we went to the movies the first time, you and I, Kurt, and you had to stand up for the King song before the movie plays.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to me that, because in the States we hate everybody. We hate the president. We hate the government, and here they don't like the government and stuff, and they didn't like the king. You were here when all that they had the rioting and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I mean, you can talk about that, but as far as the king, he was never questioned. Like, he was here. You can't step on money because it has a picture of the king on it. You can go right to jail if you talk bad about the king. There's a lot of things, and it's cool though. It's like that they're all pretty much united that this person was that great of a person. And we'll get into it on other episodes about Thailand, but I have some really cool stories. Even I have a few of them from cab drivers that have told me, like, I don't know if they're legends, but they're stories that everybody knows about the old king. And he ruled for, was it over 70 years, I believe it was. And he was responsible basically for bringing tourism to Thailand and for helping agriculture in Thailand and really uplifting the people. So it was different, but he was very revered here.
Yeah, it's funny too because even here in the States, if you go into most Thai restaurants, they have a picture of the king.
Yeah.
Most Americans have no idea who it is, but the Thais do, and you usually see a picture of the king up there.
Yeah, it's something it's cool. People, I'm sure a lot of holiday people will just overlook it. But both of you and I have been here long enough where you kind of learn more about the culture and hung around with Thai people and not Thai people that were catering towards Westerners. It was more of Thai culture, it's super amazing. What did you think about AKA while you were out here, as opposed to like a Western gym?
AKA was I really enjoyed it when I was out there in Phuket, and a lot of the reason why I enjoyed it is because it's located in Shillong, like near the pier there, Shillong Circle. And if you ever go out that direction in Phuket, it's just there's not a lot of tourism there. There is a little bit, but not really, not like on the other side of the island where Patong and the real high trafficked areas are, or even like nothing against Tiger or Phuket Top Team, but that's more of a westernized area. Like if you go down that street, it's almost like you're in a street in America. You know what I mean? Both those, I visited those gyms, and they're great gyms, but I kind of like the idea that it was a Western gym, very Western feel to it. It was more so the location of where it was at that, I really liked. And of course too, the training was really good there. Typically, the training at all of those Western gyms in Phuket is really good. Despite what, some people will tell you, like some people that are like kind of Muay Thai snobs will be like, oh, don't ever go to Phuket, go to one of those gyms. It's not as authentic, but the people that they have there holding pads are all they're all former champions. They're all top-notch instructors.
Oh yeah, totally. I agree.
Yeah.
I just spent some time at Top Team, and I don't know if you got a chance to train at Top Team, but Top Team to me, I trained at Tiger before, and I only went to Top Team. I had no interest in training on that street. Like you said, you and I went to that street together, and you
Hmm.
walk down the street, and it's kind of it. I had not spoke so much English to people until I spent some time on that street.
Yeah.
Um, you hear barely any Thai. There's Thai people working at like the restaurants and things, but you're right. There's multiple. It's one small street, and it's all restaurants that cater to the community that's right there, which is, I want to say it's Dragon Muay Thai or something like that. There's a huge CrossFit complex there now. Tiger Muay Thai, Phuket Top Team. Um, they even have their own Muay Thai stadium right in that area, and I'm talking in that area with all within like 15-minute walking from end to end. But what I was saying about Top Team is when I got there, I was like, I just wanted to do the pad holders course. All of the instructors, like you were saying, were past champions or fighters, so you're not going there and getting Western training. There was a wrestling coach who was, I want to say, maybe from England or Australia, something like that. And then another American that was a heavyweight fighter who was running a few of the MMA classes. But as far as you doing Muay Thai there, one of the trainer that I was working with was Nampoon, he fought lion fights. He fought with Orano, or I get his name wrong. Orano, what is his name?
I'm not sure. Arano?
It's I always think of Orion for some reason. I don't know, but one of like a top level guys. He fought in the States a lot, and you walk in and you don't know who these guys are. Like when I met him the first time, I didn't recognize him from anywhere because you're so many fighters that you're dealing with. Like you're literally meeting all these fighters every day, and I was like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Oh, Nampoon." And I was like, "Okay." I said, "You're gonna have to tell me again tomorrow because I forget names all the time." And he just looked at me like, "Whatever." And that's who I was working with for the pad holders course, and then I was training his brother. I was actually holding pads for his brother for 2 weeks before his fight. Fook, who he had a fight, and then he's like, "Oh, I have another fight next week." So, like you're saying, they fight all the time. Speaking of Shillong, that's where when I met you, we went down there the first trip over here, and I stayed right by the circle, and I loved it. The temple. I mean, you and I walked everywhere,
Yeah.
and I mean, we walked up to Big Buddha and all that stuff. And if anybody's ever been there, oh my goodness, people run up it, and to walking up it was a crazy thing. So we walked from our room, which like where my hotel was not close. So it was a heck of a walk that day. But I remember we went to the Shillong Temple, and we checked that out. So when I was at Top Team, our buddy Khalil Roundtree, he was coming the day after I got there. So I was alone, and I was like, I'm gonna go walk around. Like I walk everywhere. So I was like, where's the temple? And I remember we had gone there. And so I found the temple and I walked over there. And while I was walking over there, this kind of just goes along with what you were saying is Shillong is Thailand. It's very laid back. They have a great night market near there, but Shillong itself is like out of the way enough. Patong, Patong is the red light district, the tourist area, the beach there. A lot of tourism. That's the main hub kind of in Phuket. So Shillong is on the opposite side of the island. And just as a side note, when I finally realized, like, since I've been here this long, you and I, when we would go over to Patong like every night, we were spending a lot of money just going over and back.
Oh, yeah.
So, but Shillong in a whole, I was walking, there was nature, birds, trees, all that good stuff. I mean, it's a very peaceful place. Like that's where I fell in love with Thailand there. Just like you were saying, it is a super nice place. It's not overrun with tourism. I mean, you don't really see a lot of tourism. And you can, like we would go over and go play pool and stuff every night, but it was far enough away from it, you didn't have to.
Yeah. Which was was cool.
It's kind of like where I'm staying at now, as I stay in Jomtien, which is 10 minutes from Pattaya, which is the real Sin City of the world. So where my condo is, I have no bars. I don't have any nightclubs. I'm near everything I need, but I'm not near the tourist areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, and Phuket was nice. All the questions I'm asking you, I couldn't even answer. So like I couldn't tell you my favorite gym over here. Because I meet so many amazing people. I think that's the biggest thing. As far as gyms without the people, a few of them are the same. The most unique was where I just trained with Sagat at 13 coins. It was super cool. The owner said he's only had it for 10 years, and this thing looks like it was 50 years old. The whole inside is like done up in like wood. So like it's open air like all of them, but the inside was like wood with old. They looked like they were old paintings of like Muay Thai fighters, like on planks hung up. Lots of old articles that were framed. There was a picture of Sagat with the king. It was real old school, and they have chairs. These like weird like not recliners, but real big chairs that you would see at like a bar all around the training area, because the hotel next door is a hotel with a restaurant. It's kind of old and it's not busy, but if you wanted to get a drink and you could go watch these guys training. And this is a legit Thai gym with little kids training, to be champions. But as far as like uniqueness of a gym, that was only a couple weeks ago, and that was probably the most unique gym that I've been to. Pettendy, where Khalil had actually trained, I trained there. It's very modern, super nice gym. That was the first gym that I had trained at, though, that was inside. If everybody in the States is used to training inside, when you get here, you don't train Muay Thai inside typically. All the Muay Thai areas are just a roof with pillars. So you're training outside in the heat.
I think there was only one gym I trained at out there that was actually inside. Yeah, most of them, nearly all of them are outside.
I mean, it's super easy to, like, cheap to build. They'll build it in like 2 days. So
yeah.
But that's how your training is here. It's outside. It's the elements. And to touch on what you said before, when I was joking about the humidity, yeah, I had a cramp in my calf when I was training with Smart, but I had no injuries, knock on wood, like compared to the States where you're warming up, and even if you warmed up, you still your muscles are cold or something, whatever the problem is. I'm always very fluid, and like you were saying with being able to stretch, I tell you what, I'm flexible, but I can't touch my toes. I just never have been able to touch my toes. When I was stretching, getting ready to train with Samart, I was warming up with one of his crew, and for anybody that doesn't know, crew is just another word for teacher. It's just what they call a lot of the instructors out here. So that's when I say crew, it just means like coach. But a crew here is teacher, as far as any of the families have teachers for the culture and all that stuff. But back to what I was saying is I could touch my toes. So that was like I'm stretching and I'm like, wait a minute, I've never been able to do this before. It's just because you're always loose.
Yeah.
Like you can't go anywhere and not be sweating here. I just went to Burlilam and it was 107, I think, like Fahrenheit. And there you're not near the water or anything, but you're also not really in a city. So it's just wholly hot, but it wasn't like Bangkok hot. Bangkok is ungodly hot because it's just a compact city.
Yeah. It's funny too, in Bangkok, like nobody likes the heat over there either. They're all inside the mall where it's nice and cool.
Well, that and one thing that I've always noticed, I was talking to some lady that was riding a motorbike, and I go, "Where'd you come from?" And she's like, "Oh, my home." And I'm like, "Why are you wearing a jacket?" And she said, "I don't want the sun on me." And I'm like,
yeah.
I understand. Like, I get that. Do you realize you're wearing a jacket and it's like 98 degrees out here?
Yeah, that's one thing that's real hard to find out there is sunscreen.
It's expensive. I brought a
Yeah.
bunch with me. If anybody knows, if you're coming here, bring your own sunscreen from the States. Go to Walmart or whatever, because you'll find it here at the pharmacies. And pharmacies, they have literally littered everywhere, as much as 7-Elevens, which are every block. So you'll find it, but you'll pay. Oh man, I just saw one the other day, and it was $16 for a bottle of sunscreen.
Ugh.
It's not a big bottle either. Like, okay, no thank you. I'm glad I brought
Yeah, we're
it.
always talking about how cheap everything is, but not sunscreen.
Sunscreen's not cheap. Soda's not cheap. Western food is about the same amount that you pay in the States. If anybody has any questions or comments or anything like that, fightchase.com, you can contact me there.
You're throwing this up on YouTube, right?
And we're gonna figure out how to put it on YouTube. So we'll do links and everything there. If you have questions, comments, something you want us to talk about, Kurt's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He runs a Muay Thai academy in
Carson City, Nevada. Carson Kickboxing Club. If you check out Carson Kickboxing, you can reach me there. If you're ever in the area, feel free to drop in as well.
You will get some definite Thai training. I am in Thailand. If you're out here, hey, I've met a lot of people out here in the last year that I never thought I'd see again from the States. So Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, wherever you end up going, you can hit me up. It's Fight Chase on all the social media. And we are going to keep coming out with these podcasts, even if you don't like it. So listen, honestly, if you have any questions or comments about any of this stuff, if you want to know about traveling, if you're wondering about visas, if you want to know how to get into martial arts, we all started somewhere. So hit us up, ask us. We have no problem getting as much information out there as we can for you. And that should be it. You ready? Boom. All right, we're out of here.